welcome back to Korean Tapas, Season 1, Episode 14. We are here again to discuss how great Korea is and how Spain is not.
Okay, yeah, okay.
With me, as usual, on the right side of the screen, Minki, how are you?
Hi, how are you? I'm great, thank you.
Great. Jisang, how about you?
Good, good. But I feel very awkward to be right next to Minki with the same microphone.
It's true, listeners cannot see it, but they are in the same room. This is fantastic. Yes, I
Yeah,
like it. Maybe one day we can, the three of us.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna try as much as I can not to overlap our audio.
Okay, so today we want to share transportation. I have thoughts, I have rage. I'm always in anger when it comes to transportation. And I want to channel my anger with you guys and feel better on how Korea does transportation because I think Spain could learn a thing or two on how you guys do it. First, let me ask you guys, how do you usually move around the city? How do you move around Seoul?
Obviously, bus and metro, but in my case, I prefer bus. Even for my commuting, I take bus usually.
Well, why do you prefer bus and not metro?
Because I think it varies depending on the part of Seoul where they live. I mean, but in my case, there is barely very a small possibility of traffic jam when I take a bus. So I prefer to take a bus because it feels more open rather than the metro, I guess.
But it's not faster.
It's similar, but this is my personal preference. I prefer to take a bus rather than the metro if the required time is not so much different.
Hmm.
Mhm.
What about you, Minky?
I live in literally the center of Seoul.
Of
So,
course.
yes,
What else?
so
Yeah.
always I have a traffic jam when I take the bus. So I don't have any option. I just use the metro all the time.
All the time. Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Usually, when I mean, okay, before COVID, of course, now working from home, but the combinations using bus, they're usually slower or worse than subway. Subway usually is faster. And yeah, I mean, I have to cross long portions of the city when I go to my classes, and I really need the subway. Otherwise, it would take just too long for the bus. But I agree with you, Sang, that I also prefer bus rather than going underground to the metro.
Yes.
Definitely. Buses are not too bad in Barcelona. I gotta say. Okay, I have rage, but buses maybe it's the best thing that we have. Maybe I don't know. They're quite modern now. They're doing this conversion to all green and electric, and they're pushing for that, which is
Mm.
fantastic. One thing that shocked me in Seoul, maybe you guys tell me, but what I saw in the buses first were like they were not very accessible. Like you have to actually walk up some stairs to get into the bus. And I was wondering if you are an 80-year-old woman who can barely walk, what happens there? Do you? I mean, it's the first thing I saw because when you go here, the bus is like same level of the street. They even have like special ramps for wheelchairs and things like that, and they're very like accessible. That's the first thing I noticed.
Actually, I remember that around 10 years ago, there has been a quite similar discussion about just what you said in Korea as well. So I can say that compared to 10 years ago, I mean, lots of buses have been changed into the buses that you mentioned. The buses without the stairs, but still there are lots of buses that people have to climb up to be on the bus. So still, it remains as a one of very few problems that we have in terms of the public transportation, I guess.
Are the buses like private companies? Because I know in some countries the buses are not like from the city, but they have different company buses. Is it this case in Seoul, or is it like government buses?
No, no, no. I think we are also one of those countries with
Aha,
multiple bus companies, I guess.
Mhm.
right. Okay, because here, not here. Here, yeah, I mean, okay, depending on the city, of course,
Mm.
but yeah, in Barcelona, there's just one. The city runs the. It's called TMB, right? And it's city owned, so all buses are under the same umbrella. Let's say. Interesting. Interesting.
But what I understand is that the city not owns the bus companies, but they maybe have some, what can I say, the stock or portion.
Ah,
So
they
so they
control and
can,
they regulate.
they
Yeah.
can influence. Yes.
Yeah, like obviously they are the ones who can distribute the license to the companies.
Do you like okay? Let's go digital. So, do you have a way to know when the bus is coming, or do you have any sort of way of knowing? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Minki say yes, of course. They do,
Quite,
dude. It's this Korea 2022, of course.
yes, quite. We know everything, right? Every we have every timetables with the our
Application.
application.
Do you use Google Maps or something else? Is it some Korean app?
In Korea, we have our domestic map application.
Okay, from
The,
Naver.
Yes,
yeah, I
yes.
mean, yeah.
You already know it. Never.
The main ones
Never.
are from Naver and Kakao. And
Aha.
as far as I know, I mean, for us, I mean, at least for us, for Koreans, Google Maps is an application that we use when we go abroad. It's not for the
Ha.
domestic purpose.
Interesting.
So we
Yes.
receive and we search all the information that we need via those domestic applications that I mentioned.
Well, the problem for tourists is that we don't have those applications. They're usually in Korean, right? So
Yes, I'm
I
sorry for
did use Google
that.
Maps when went to Seoul, and it worked more or less fine. I mean, more or less. Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I tried it one time with the Google Maps
Yeah.
proposally. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to compare with the Naver map with Google Maps,
Yeah.
and I for 40 minutes. Usually, I take 40 minutes to go to somewhere, and via Google Map, I took like 50 minutes or something. Just
So it was longer.
longer, but a little bit different.
A little bit. A little bit. Yeah.
And the timetable is not that correct in the Google Map.
Aha.
For the Naver map and Kakao map, we have quite like accurate timetable. So like within 3 minutes, the train will come and I take it. But
Nice.
the Google with the Google map, it's not that accurate.
Because here, not so long ago, you had to actually go to the bus station and look at the screen that would say, "Yeah, there's a bus." I mean, there still are screens, right? You can see 3 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever. Or you would have to memorize at what intervals the bus comes. They come at 10, at 15, and maybe at 45 each hour, right? But not so long ago, a couple of years ago, now that like the system of the bus system has integrated into Google Maps. So now you when you use Google Maps in Barcelona, you can actually see okay the bus is coming. It's 1 minute away or something like that. So you really have real time data built into Google Maps, and that's fantastic for buses in Barcelona. So if you come here, please use Google Maps.
Always.
Awesome. There is one topic that it goes across buses, metro, and everything, which is how do you actually pay for the ride, right? Maybe we can start now and then we compare with metro, but how do you actually pay for the bus ride?
Yeah, obviously there are mainly two options, I think, and it's a global thing. That the first thing might be topping up the balance, and the second thing is like uh, credit paying system, I guess. I mean, recently, I mean, more and more people prefer to use the latter one. So it's like we pay only once in a month after spending all the money with their credit card.
Hmm. Oh, you don't.
So the system itself is quite similar to
Mhm.
that of credit card. You
Okay,
just you just tap your card, you tap your credit card, and you have to pay at the end of your month, I guess.
special credit card only for transportation, or is that regular
Uh,
credit card?
the our usual the credit card has the transportation function
Huh.
as well.
Right, because the one big difference between maybe Korea and or how do we do it here in Spain is that you guys calculate the distance to know how much you have to pay.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
if you go like one stop, is one price. If you go 10 stops, it's a different price. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes.
So here it works a little bit differently. Here, usually we have like zones or like they call it, I don't know, circles
A
or
circle.
yeah, maybe it's not circle, but more or less a circle, right? So anything inside the circle, same price, which is not super fair because you would pay, for instance, like I think the individual ticket it makes it's like €2, which is super expensive. If you just pay one ticket and you do one stop, it's gonna be €2. Maybe you cross Barcelona because it's the same circle, and you do it's like maybe 20 stops, €2. So same price for 1 minute, or same price for 20 minutes, which for me is
Oh,
strange.
the people don't complain or not?
Well, what can you do? I you gotta see it from two sides. I mean, from one side, those who do long distance, it's great for them because they only pay like small fee and they travel long distance. But for those that would rather do a short distance, you don't do it. I mean, maybe I'm thinking maybe it's to promote more walking, because if it were too cheap, imagine it's like, I don't know, 20 cents to get just one stop of the bus.
Mm-hmm.
People would rather go take the bus rather than just walk the distance of one stop. I don't know. Okay, so here, yes, you can. You gotta have a ticket, either like either a single ticket for tourists, which is super expensive, or have like, what is it called? I don't know what's it called. They have many different types of tickets. Like you can buy 10, how do you say it? 10 travels, 10 rides, 10 rides, and it's cheaper, or 20, or if you're a tourist, you can even pay for like a full day free rides, and then you get one card which you can use whole day.
Yes, I remember that. Even though I have lived in Barcelona for a year, and I don't think that I fully understood the transportation system. I just bought some 10 times the ticket for the metro, and that was all. Then I don't remember that how I paid for bus. Maybe I just paid the coin.
Yeah, you can pay I think now they're phasing out cash and stuff, and you can pay now. Before you could not pay with card on the bus.
Mm.
Like you either cash or have the ticket, special ticket, right? But now you
Mm.
can start paying with cards, and it's so Barcelona is trying to push for digital upgrades or whatever. But now 2022. I mean, you guys, how long have you guys had these things? I've been also to London and Japan and Korea. All you guys, you have these digital things that where you can top off your card anywhere. It's reusable, and
Mm.
here we still use like cardboard cards. It's like paper, and it's very strange to me. It's very strange to me. Sorry, I need to complain. Um, yeah,
This might be little bit out of our topic because this comes from my experience when I visited Mallorca last year, and there I remember they just accepted the paying system with their credit card, so it was possible to pay their fee, but by taking their credit card to the machine, just like we do here in Korea.
right. But then in that case, you were paying for a single ticket, right? Which is the most expensive ticket there is.
Ah.
Like,
Might be.
right, that's not a trick for tourists, but it's like if you come here, you gotta know different types of tickets that you can purchase, right? Ideally, if you want to move around a lot in like a weekend, there's a special type of ticket for that, which is so much cheaper than buying like 10 rides individually, right? The individual rides are super expensive. And yes, I agree with you, Minky, man. You have to go to the machine, put it in English, and try to understand the different types of otherwise it's super expensive. It's super expensive, and
Now, do you have what do we say? How can I say that the changing transportation system, like
Transfer.
a transfer? Yeah. Do you have a transfer
yes,
discount?
that's correct. So there's like at least for Barcelona and the area metro area, it's like integrated. Like if I think for individual tickets doesn't work, which is again is another way of tricking you, but if you have the 10 ride ticket, whatever, you can maybe jump into the metro and then switch to the bus with the same how do you say, the same ride, is the same fare. It's like they don't charge you extra. It's like you pay once going to the metro and then you switch to the bus, and it continues to work, I think, for 1.5 hours. And I think you cannot like the different rules, like you
Mm.
cannot do metro, I think, or you cannot do the same metro twice, or
Yeah,
a same
right.
bus twice, things like that, right? But yes, more or less, I mean, it helps when you have to do going to work, and you have to do a combination of bus and metro. Okay, metro, let's go. Metro here, it's dangerous.
Hmm?
It's dangerous. It's dirty, and sometimes it's very crowded.
Oh yeah.
Now, Seoul, how's it work? It's beautiful. It's very spacious, silent, and cheap
Beautiful, beautiful, spacious, and pack of people.
during rush hour.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I wanted to mention was like the name is 지옥철. The 지옥철. It's quite the common what common noun. That 지옥 means hell in Korea, and 철 is like 지하철, the metro. So we combined two words. Like 지옥철 is the hell metro for us. This is especially for like from 8 a.m. to like 9 a.m. When we need to commute.
So you use this word to describe what's going to happen to you if you go to the subway at 8 a.m. in the morning in a Monday.
It's a very common term, I guess.
Like we really literally these days I take every day the 지옥철, the exact the same word, and I rush even though I don't want to move. I need to what my legs are not mine. Like I need to I need to surf. I need to surf the
The
wave.
wave.
Yeah, the wave. Like when the people come out, I go out. Like when the people come in, I go in.
But how do you handle like let's say that you go in at the beginning of the line and then for some reason you get stuck at, like inside the train, but you're gonna go out in the next stop. It's not possible. Even if
We
you say
yell. I yell. Like
you
I
yell,
need, yeah, like I need to go out, and like
and they will say, "There's no space. I'm sorry. Wait for the next stop."
they don't speak anything. Like they just like don't move. Like and I rush. Like
You have to like use some sort of I don't know
yes,
forceps to wow.
I mean, it's like magic because only for the situation, everyone understands that kind of physical contact, and they
It's
are not
fine, no?
bothered by like being pushed by other unknown people because it's
Oh my
like
god.
the culture they're living in. So I sometimes describe like getting off from the 지옥철. It's like automatic movement. It feels like I mean it seems like it's very tough, but it's not that tough in real.
yes. Every time it works.
It works. I mean, from the
Anyway,
outside, it looks complicated to me. It looks complicated that there's so many people. I mean, don't get me wrong. Here as well, if you go, there are more busy lines as well. And in Barcelona, if you take sure on a Monday 8 a.m., it's also crowded. Maybe not as much. I noticed that the how do you call it the train itself. Like, how do you say it in English? Wagon. The
wagon, the
Wagon?
car,
Wagon?
wagon.
the wagon. No, the train itself. It's bigger than Barcelona, the metro, right? And maybe there's not as many people here as you have there. And I've never had many problems like trying to get away because it's like maybe it's 5 people in front of you, not 20 as in Seoul metro. Wow. Okay, so if I'm a tourist and I go to Seoul, you are telling me to stay away from
Yes,
the
yes,
Hell metro.
yes.
What times would that be? From 8 to what? 8 to 9, 8 to 10,
7 to 8,
7 to
nine,
8.
7 to 9, and of course the 6 to 7 p.m.
Yeah,
Okay,
both rush
6 to 7.
hours.
Okay, so then I will walk in those times. Perfect.
The reason is actually we have Seoul itself is the size is similar to Barcelona, but our population is like 9 million, 9 million people, and around our Seoul, like we have like 경기도 zone, which is like we can
The metro
like
area, right?
commute, and then mixed with combined, we have like almost like 20 million
20? Yeah, 20
people
million. Yeah,
to
yeah.
commute between Seoul and Gyeonggi-do.
Small town, small town. Wow, yeah. Okay, okay. Good. More comparisons. So you're saying that to get into the metro, the rides to pay, it's the same as the bus, right? You get your card, you can top off your card.
I sometimes pay with my mobile phone.
Ooh, fancy guy.
Not sometimes, actually. When I use Samsung phone, like I cannot, and now I use the Apple phone that I cannot use that function. But when I use Samsung phone or the LG phone, I can use the function with the
So
transportation.
now you have a more expensive phone and you cannot use it to pay. That's interesting.
That's so like so easy to I don't have to pick up the card and I don't
It's
have to
so great,
I
guys.
just
I mean, this year the metro is starting to roll out mobile payment. Now, 2022, for the first time in I don't know how many years the metro has been on in Barcelona. Now they're rolling out mobile payments. But to do that, you need to like sign up for this service, give all your personal information,
mm,
and now the subway company is going to know where you go, when you go, and all those things. So I reached out to the company and I told them, hey, this is fantastic. I want to pay with my phone, or a top of card like you guys have, plastic thing where I can reuse. And they I told them, but I don't want to give you my information. I don't want you to know where you're going, where I'm going, and all those things, because it's why should you know, right?
mm,
And they said, not possible, not for now. We understand your concern, and we believe that in the future it must be possible, but for now it's not possible. So not
mm,
cool, not cool, Barcelona. They jumped from cardboard cards to digital phone rather than doing the middle step, which is rechargeable cards as you have, right? A plastic
mm,
thing I can just go to the kiosk and recharge. So that's another thing I hate about Metro in Barcelona. Cool. Metro, yeah, we love it. What else? Metro. Is it safe in Korea, in Seoul, the metro? I mean, generally, what am I saying? Korea is just safe in general. It doesn't. Um,
we're safe from what we call it, we're safe from
Crimes or
crime.
yeah, crimes like yeah, if you go there, like if you have your backpack, okay, you're in a
Mm,
subway, you have your backpack put on your back. Will they open it and steal your things?
mm,
I don't think so. I mean, we can obviously see some of the news. I mean, regarding the incidents happened inside the metro or other sorts of public transportation. But I mean, honestly, comparing to other foreign countries,
Yeah,
public safety is like pretty. I mean,
it's a dream, man.
nice
It's a
here.
dream. It's a dream. Can we switch? Like, I have your safety here, and you got my crimes there. Yeah, so here it's a tourist trap. You guys, when you come here in Barcelona, please be careful. You can
mm,
never have your backpack on your back or things unattended. Of course, always have it in front. Your wallet has to be in front, and all those things, because of course depends on the line, depends on the time of the day. If you go to a station, so it's more like city center, it's more dangerous because of more tourists, and then it's more, yeah, free for all, like the thieves know where to go.
mm,
But yeah, generally you gotta, I mean, I guess if you're born and raised here, you already have this sort of knowledge, and you know how to not behave, but how to deal with your
mm.
stuff, right? I mean, you have your back, you will not have it in your back all the time, but and be careful with your things. But yeah, and also like the subway, I don't know, is it open 24/7 for you guys all night, depending on the days, weekends maybe?
No, no, no. I mean, it depends on the lines. I mean,
Okay.
lines
Okay.
of the metro, but I think most of the time the last train departs are around 12 a.m.
Okay.
and the
Okay.
first one starts around 5 a.m. I guess.
Right. During weekdays as well here, but I think it's the night from Friday to Saturday, which is all night. The service goes all night. And of course, if you jump into the metro at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m., what do you expect, right? You will see drunk people. You will see, and it's dangerous. I mean, dangerous. There's always security people around, but when you have 10 drunk people, what can you do, right? They cannot do anything, right?
There was that the quite the only thing that I loved in Barcelona for the transportation.
Or
That
is it the
yeah,
only thing I loved? Oh, okay. In transportation, you
oh
scared
yeah,
me.
for the
Okay.
transportation because yeah, like after 12 or 1 a.m. like usually when I was in Korea, what we have the only option is via taxi.
Which is cheap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is. It is.
Okay, but still, okay. We have only one option, taxi. But when I was in Barcelona, like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m.,
Mm.
I took the metro or the bus. There was like quite, this one, because we drink we drink as much as Barcelonan
Yeah, you
Barcelonian
drink.
is. So like we drink all night, but when we finish the drink during the weekend, we always pay the taxi. So
And for your information, compared compared to other countries I've been, the night bus is not that common and
Mhm.
well spread here in Korea. I mean, we do have night bus as far as I know, but in my case, I have never taken
Mhm.
the night bus, so I
Wow.
can say that that night line is nocturne line is
Mhm.
not that popular and common here.
Yes, yes.
Then here it's very, very, yeah. It's for years. The night bus. They're different. It's different lines, not the regular lines, but the special lines, right? That you gotta just go Google Maps and you say, "Take me home," and it will say, "Take the night bus." They worked very nicely. I've used them. Yeah, no problem. If I mean, if you check Google Maps and it's on your in your area, yeah, let's do it. I would prefer that before subway if it's 3 or 4 in the morning and I'm alone. It's not cool, and for women especially, right? I mean, it's that's dangerous. I wouldn't do that. I mean, if you go with your friends, that's fine. If you go three for friends, that should be fine. But yeah, it's
Mhm.
I don't like the metro at night. And it also depends on the area, right? I mean, if you are more city center, okay, you will have drunk tourists. But if you go more outside, you would have the more dangerous areas. So it's
Mhm.
not cool, not cool. But I'm glad that it's a win for Barcelona regarding night bus. That's cool. Okay, the last thing on transportation is trains. I
Mhm.
love trains. Trains are cool,
Mhm.
but trains are not cool in Spain.
Mhm.
That's the problem.
Why? Why?
Trains are cool in Korea. Um, we all know that you have different types of trains. Trains for long distance, trains for short distance. Um, what I'm interested in is your famously fast bullet trains. Minky or Jisang, when you were here, did you have a chance to board the AVE, the high speed train?
I'm not sure. I don't clearly remember.
Mhm.
I only remember Renfe.
Renfe.
Well, yeah, the Renfe is the company that handles all transportation, right?
Mm.
And of
Mm.
course, one of the types of trains is the AVE, and then you have, I don't know, cercanías for short distance and things like that.
I
And
mean, but I can imagine that at least for me. I mean, it might be same for Mindy that when we were in Spain, we were just students, so we we might have just chosen the cheaper options. So that might not be the case of bullet train.
could be, could be. Yeah, I guess. I mean, sure, the bullet train is a little bit more expensive, but not that much. And let's compare a little bit. So, usually we don't have many lines of bullet trains. I mean, usually if you're here in Barcelona, you would go to Zaragoza or
Mm.
Madrid, Sevilla as well. Bullet trains. I was checking prices and timetables, and you guys tell me how slow this shit is. So basically, Barcelona to Madrid takes almost 3 hours,
Mhm.
and it costs about 100 euros one way.
That's
Mm,
expensive.
that's expensive. Yeah.
One way, right? Right. If you go by plane, it's usually 45 minutes, and
Okay. Uh-huh.
the price might be other. Well, of course, depends. But the thing is that, as you know, airports are outside of the city, so you have to spend more time going to the airport. And when you land to Madrid, you have to take the train back to the city center. In this case, the bullet train, you go from city center of Barcelona, city center of Madrid. But yeah, it's expensive, and also you can go for the same price. Turns out, I just checked the Renfe website. You can go to Sevilla in
Mhm.
5.5 hours. That's a lot of time for me. I mean, okay, Spain is big, but it's not that big. I mean, when I see like for you guys, would you know how long it takes from Seoul to Busan?
2.5 hours, I guess.
Mhm.
2.5 hours. Price?
50 euros. 50.
Okay, now we need to know how far is it. So let me quickly do Seoul to Busan.
400
400 kilometers?
around.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, 400. And now let's check Madrid to Barcelona. How many kilometers that is? 600.
So. Mhm.
And how long it was for Busan?
2.5 hours, I guess.
2.5 hours.
Mhm.
Then it is lower. I mean,
I'm not
if
really
you if
sure. Do you know
Yeah,
exactly?
yeah. Actually, it can have more speed. But what I remember was that there's so many.
stops.
so many stops, even though it's fully trained.
Ah,
So that was one of the problem that people like. Actually, the people say that, oh, we want bullet train, and when it comes, like, it was faster.
right. But now there's too many stops, and it wastes too much
Yes,
time.
yes. So it doesn't have that the first speed.
No, then I'm happy because if Barcelona to, yeah, Barcelona to Madrid is 245
Hmm.
and it's 600 and something kilometers, and you're
Hmm.
saying that Seoul Busan it's 400 and it's 2.5 hours. It's almost the same. Um,
Maybe the price is that we can
half,
we
yeah,
can
half the
win, but
price. Yeah.
like the speed, like these days the KTX, it's not that we call it KTX. KTX is KTX has more and more stuff that we don't feel speed. Like,
Nice, nice.
nice.
Uh,
What is
well,
nice?
I don't know. It's nice that you have it. I think here, if you're a frequent like traveler, if you have to go to Madrid for business regularly, you can have special
Hmm.
prices. Like, okay, you can buy maybe 10 tickets a month or something, and it's a little bit better. But still, I feel that it's the train in Spain are a little bit expensive,
Hmm.
and usually like they're not on time. Maybe the
Oh.
bullet trains a little bit more, but when you take like short distance trains,
Hmm.
it's madness. Like I know
Hmm.
people that have to go into Barcelona every morning, like, and they have to take like this called cercanías or and always there are also always issues like the trains malfunction, they stop, they have to maybe switch trains, they're not on time, and you wait and you wait and they're not here, they don't give information, and it's really something. I mean, maybe if you go one time in a weekend, it's fine, but when you have to do it every day, it's painful. um
Mm.
how would you guys do? Have you ever experienced like in Korea delays in trains, or is it like more general feeling that yeah, it works fine, it's on time, I know that I can get there, no problem?
We never accept delay.
Never.
I mean, not never, but when we see it, like, it's like unusual, I
It's
guess.
very
I
unusual.
agree. I agree.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Because when I go to my countryside, I always use the train. The delaying time is just within 10 minutes,
10 minutes. That's
uh,
fantastic.
or max al maximum. Yeah.
Well, it's cool that it's so reliable, man. Here, not so much. Like, I, I, I mean, yeah, I would say during the year, I don't take many trains, but like, yeah, a couple of dozen, and there's always problems. Like,
Mm.
maybe not on every ride, but usually if it says I stop at 2:30,
Mhm.
it's not here, and you're like, okay, it's not. But then why do you say it's 2:30 if you're not here? Because there's always problems, right? Is that it? Are we done?
Mm.
Am
Yeah.
I done raging and complaining?
Angry. You're like Angry Bird.
Do I feel satisfied with my anger?
Not enough.
Okay, one more thing. One more thing.
Okay.
I did like very much your buses, your long distance buses in Korea. So
Mm.
I took quite of them, like when I went to from Seoul to the Daejeon or the Daejeon to the
Mm.
airport, and your buses are cool. Like people who haven't seen your cool long distance buses, they're nice. Like the seats are like movie theater seats, super
Mm,
big.
Mm.
You can almost stay horizontally almost.
Yeah.
It's not super crowded.
Mhm.
It's like what 3 seats each row. But here,
uh,
no, man. Here, if you take a long distance bus, it's
Mm.
super crowded. You guys probably have done it. I'm
Mhm.
sure
Yeah.
Pamplona or right. You've seen the buses here.
yeah, I took them several times.
And how did you like it, them, Jisang? Did you like our buses?
But there's also one thing that I really enjoyed when I took the buses in Spain, because
What?
you guys have toilet inside.
Yes, that was crazy.
Look, I'm almost 30, 35. I
Mm.
have never used the toilet in a bus. Did you?
I think I used like one or two.
maybe for the P, maybe.
Oh, they're
Mhm.
not in Korea. Yeah, I guess no. Now that I'm doing my mental image of the bus in Korea, yeah, there's no space for the.
So let me get this straight. I mean, to be more specific, I enjoyed the fact that they have toilet inside the bus, but personally, I don't feel like uncomfortable here in Korea either, because we stop every 2 hours in the
Mm.
resting area. So I mean, at least for 2 hours, we are okay with all the number one or number two.
Yeah, your resting areas are cool, man.
Yeah, yeah, but still, apart from that, having toilet inside the bus is very nice idea, I guess.
You
Yeah.
don't. You don't. You don't.
For me,
you-
I'm not convinced. Though. I mean, nah.
But in
I'll-
but in Spain, you guys don't stop every 2 hours. I don't think so. I mean, every 3 or 4 hours, I guess.
4 hours. I
maybe.
think. Yeah.
I do not know the regulation. I mean, I'm sure there's a regulation on how long a driver can go without a stop. But yeah, 2 hours feels short. Short. But I like it in Korea when I used them to go to I don't know when anyway. And yeah, I like your resting areas, man. They're super.
Yes.
They're awesome. They're big.
Yes.
I mean, here usually if you stop at a resting area, it means like it's a gas station. The shitty toilet on the back, and I don't know. The gas station has snacks, I suppose. But you guys, restaurants and
Oh yeah.
fancy areas, big and gardens, and the parking lot is like I don't know. It's like a mall. Like it's like a mall, and it's awesome.
So sometimes people say I travel because I want to go to the restroom.
No,
The
what?
restaurant,
rest area.
restaurant, the rest area and restaurant.
What? This is insane. Must be good. Must be good area. I remember eating like the cold. How do you call it? Cold noodles? Jajangmyeon.
Naengmyeon.
Naengmyeon. The cold noodles in a resting area. And they were fantastic. Man. They were delicious. They were delicious. So yeah, I like it.
You really like Korean transportation.
It's I know. Yes, I am. Yeah. I don't-
You're quite patriotic. Like you look.
For you, yes, I wear your flag when I go to the gym. My back has your flag in it, so it's like I'm more Korean than Spanish. All right, guys. Anything else from your side?
It was like interesting. quite like.
I mean,
interesting.
at least for this topic, there are, I mean, several things that I can, I mean, show off. I mean, in terms of our culture, but I
Be
think
proud of,
it's,
man.
you know,
Yeah,
I think we've talked enough.
we talk nothing. Yeah, yeah. You guys, I miss Korea. That's it. That's how we're gonna close the episode. I miss Korea. I miss your transportation, and for the rest, thank you for listening as usual. Leave us a comment, leave us a question, anything you want. We are everywhere now. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube now. Jisang, Minki, thank you so much.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias.
Muchas de nadas. See you next time.
Bye bye.
See you.